The 12 disciples of Jesus, their calling and martyrdom. The 12 disciples chosen by Jesus weren't just religious leaders. They were the very foundation of the gospel. Their lives played a key role in the Bible, and according to tradition, most of them gave their lives as martyrs for their faith. Let's walk through each disciple's story, their role in Scripture, and how they finished their journey. Simon Peter. In Scripture, originally named Simon, Jesus gave him the name Peter, saying, "On this rock I will build my church," Matthew 16:18. He was bold and passionate, but also weak at times, denying Jesus 3 times. Still, after meeting the risen, Lord Peter was restored and became the leader of the early church. Martyred in Rome under Nero, crucified upside down. Andrew. In Scripture, Peter's brother, one of the first disciples to follow Jesus. After meeting him through John the Baptist, he brought Peter to Jesus and pointed the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish to him, crucified on an X-shaped cross in Achaia, Greece. James, son of Zebedee, in Scripture brother of John, one of the 3 closest to Jesus, nicknamed a son of thunder. He witnessed the transfiguration and other key moments. Beheaded by King Herod Agrippa on Acts 12, becoming the first apostle to be martyred. John, in Scripture known as the disciple whom Jesus loved. He was the only disciple at the cross, and was entrusted with caring for Mary, author of the Gospel of John, 3 letters, and Revelation. Survived being thrown into boiling oil, later exiled to Patmos, where he wrote Revelation. He's the only apostle believed to have died a natural death. Philip, in Scripture from Bethsaida, introduced Nathanael Bartholomew to Jesus. At the Last Supper, he asked, "Lord, show us the Father." Crucified in Hierapolis, modern-day Turkey. Bartholomew Nathanael, in Scripture called Nathanael in John's Gospel, moved deeply when Jesus said, "I saw you under the fig tree." Preached in India and Armenia, flayed alive, and then beheaded. Thomas, in Scripture often called Doubting Thomas, but his doubt led to a powerful confession. "My Lord and my God," after seeing the risen Jesus. Took the gospel to India, martyred by spears near modern-day Chennai. The Saint, Thomas Church, still stands there today. Matthew, in Scripture a tax collector, despised by society, but called by Jesus. He later wrote the Gospel of Matthew, martyred by the sword, likely in Ethiopia or Persia. James the Less, in Scripture son of Alphaeus, distinguished from James the son of Zebedee, became a leader in the Jerusalem church, beaten to death with clubs and stoned in Jerusalem. Thaddaeus Jude, son of James, in Scripture asked Jesus in John 14, "Lord, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world?" Martyred with arrows or spears while preaching in Persia. Simon the Zealot, in Scripture called the Zealot, likely once part of a revolutionary movement. Jesus transformed his zeal into passion for the gospel. Martyred in Persia, reportedly sawn in 2. Judas Iscariot, in Scripture betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. His betrayal played a role in God's salvation plan, but he ended his life in despair. Matthew 2:175. Replacement Matthias was chosen by Lot to replace him. Acts 1. Preached in Ethiopia and stoned to death. The disciples weren't perfect. They doubted, failed, and even betrayed. Peter denied Jesus, Thomas doubted, and Judas betrayed. Yet Jesus still chose them. Through his calling, they were transformed, and in the end, most gave their lives for the gospel. This is a powerful reminder for us today. God doesn't call the perfect. He works through ordinary, weak people who are willing to follow him. Just like the disciples who once struggled, but became world-changing apostles, we too can answer his call and be used for something greater.